Hello and welcome to the 2014 L'Étape de la Defonce stage race for 3rd and 4th category amateur riders, organised by the Cardiff 100 Milers Racing Club. Based here in South Wales in the Vale of Glamorgan, the race takes place over 2 days, starting today with a 7.1 mile team time trial and in the afternoon a 52.4 mile road race. As you join us now on the 2014 L'Étape de la Defonce stage race, Bristol Cycling Club are about to set off. Team Forza have already set off on their team time trial. We'll just see how the Bristol Cycling Club get on now. And here we have the Abergavenny Road Club, consisting of James Woodier, Matt Whitaker, Ian Sutcliffe and Graham Edwards leading them off. And here we have the Kingston Wheelers Cycling Club, led off by Colin Gunn, with Paul Moore, Stephen Harvey and Jim Lay. Few minutes to go before their start time. Conditions are drying as we speak. Overnight rain has made the course a little bit wet, but hopefully it'll dry out later on this morning in time for this afternoon's road race.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Here comes Thames Velo, consisting of Matt Fredrickson, Andrew Brown, Philip Mosley and Robert Mosley. So Thames Velo just composing themselves just before they set off. And they're off, but their lead rider's gone a bit quick there. The other three are going to have to try and catch up there. Here we have Bristol Road Club, consisting of Stuart McCombie, Matthew Blackmore, Rob Handley and Nathan Anscombe. Stuart McCombie looking focused there, composing himself. All the riders held, focusing on keeping team formation.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
And Bristol Road Club set off. Next up, Binia Cycling Club, consisting of Anthony Evans, Julius Banquet, Mark Bowen and Adrian Small. Mark Bowen will be leading them off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Thank you!
And here we have the Royal Air Force Cycling Race Team, consisting of Luke Bonnet, Jamie Booth, Dan Lewis and Rob Gray. Preparing for their start time. One team didn't sign on this morning, the Liverpool Century Road Club. So that brings the amount of riders in this race to 80.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Next team up is the Ludlow Cycling Club, consisting of Dan Cutting, Stephen Minton, Gil Richards, who's a 4th Cat Junior, and Jack Stanton Warren. Dan Cutting leading the team off from the start. Hydration also will be a big factor in this race over this weekend due to the humidity. Recent temperatures have been in the mid-20s. Conditions at the moment are perfect for time trialling. Very little wind. And they're off. Next team up, the Army Cycling Union. Team members consisting of Ian Tosh, Chris Boot, Alec Rumble and Graham Rogerson. Graham Rogerson to lead the team off. Time taken on the 3rd man, so they can afford to drop one man. But that 3rd man must cross the line, so it's not any use to cross the line in 2. You have to have the 3rd man to get the official team time trial time. Next team up, one of the local teams, based just outside Newport, Cumcarn Paragon Cycling Club. The team this year consists of Ian Frowen, Ryan Brain, Andy Haynes and Paul Hayward. Ryan Brain, 3rd Cat Junior to lead them off. The L'Étape de la Defonce is one of the premier stage race events for 3rd category and 4th category riders in South Wales. Teams from all over the country enter the event each year, which is now in its 20th edition. The team time trial really is one of those events where if you are having a bad day, you certainly will find out almost immediately. Focusing on staying on the wheel is key. and being aware of your fellow riders. And that's Kumkan setting off in formation, ready to give it their all. Another local cycling club, the Cardiff Cyclopedia team. This year's team features Andy Davis, Zach Minto, Gareth Holtham and Tom Ashford. All four third cats. Tom Ashford leading them off from the start. Focusing on these bikes these days, carbon fibre, aerodynamic tubing, selection of 21, 22 gears, 11 sprockets on the back is now the norm, deep section carbon fibre rims. A recent rule in this race was that no teams were allowed to use time trial bikes, as that offered an unfair advantage to the teams that used them, whereas other teams had to use road bikes, which they'll also be using for stage 1A and tomorrow's stage.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Tom Ashford breathing heavily there, getting his maximum oxygen into those lungs. Now, the next team, another local team based in Cardiff, been going a number of years now. Cardiff Ajax Cycling Club, sponsored by Griffin Mill, Dolan and Muddy Bum Bikes, headed up here by Alex Tuck, Julian Atfield, Kinsey McQuillan and Joel Simpson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Cardiff Ajax away. Oh, some trouble there for number 53 at the back there, Joel Simpson. Looks as though he's got over the top of that though. Slight gear jump. He's back on the back. Next team up, Paramount Cycle Racing Team, sponsored by Stan's Cycles. Ed Giles, Johan Smallwood, Ewan Caird and Howell Eorworth. Ed Giles at the rear. Third category junior rider. There's a few of them in this race this year. Each team accompanied also by a National Escort Group motorcycle rider, purely for safety reasons.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
And they're away fairly smoothly there. Paramount Cycle Racing Team. Here we have a team from across the bridge on the south coast, Poole Wheelers Cycling Club. 2 fourth category riders, 2 third category riders, consisting of Tim Flynn, Rob Flynn, Gareth Cobb and Mark Valentine. Tim Flynn bringing up the rear. Over the 20 years of this event taking place, teams from all over England and Wales have contested it. Last year's winners, Forza Cycles Racing Team, in it this year, but with a different team. So it'll be a big challenge to see if they can hold their title. Won last year by Vince Thomas. Unfortunately, unable to ride the event this year as he's now moved up a category. Riders all clipped in, focused on their breathing, focusing on maintaining a smooth rhythm as they go through and off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Next team up, the Spartan Racing Team, sponsored by Cyclopedia, Body Mechanics and Woodloins. Quite a unique team this year. All 4 riders are third category juniors. No other team in this race this year has 4 third category juniors. Be interesting to see how they get on. They consist of Pat Fotheringham, Louis Suggett, Sam Rees and Jack Billiard. Number 65 at the front there, Pat Fotheringham, leading the team off. Hopefully they'll be able to show some of the third cat and fourth cat seniors a thing or two in this team time trial. Pat Fotheringham still having trouble with his eyewear, steaming up. Once he gets going though, that'll soon clear. Next up, Radion Cycle Coaching, sponsored by Bike Science, Talk and Deaf Blind UK. A mixed team consisting of Stuart Gowley, Jamie Penton, Phil Hopley, Ben Strain, who's a 4th cat junior. Teams being led off by Jamie Penton, 3rd category rider. Each rider thinking that they don't want to let the other riders down. Keeping a tight formation. Concentration in Jamie Penton's face there. The lead man Quite an art to team time trialling. You don't want to go off too hard, otherwise you leave the third and fourth man trailing in your wake and they expend more energy than required to get back onto the team time trial. It is actually quite an art form.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Third to last team to ride the team time trial today are On It Sports, consisting of Sean Clark, Mike Hall, David Jenkins and William Richards. All 4 riders focused on the wheel in front.
2, 1, go!
We're going through and off as smooth as possible. Team number 2 from the Cardiff Ajax Cycling Club. This is Team B, sponsored by Griffin Mill, Dolan and Muddy Bum Bikes. All 4th category riders, one of which is a 4th Cat Junior. There's quite a few of them in this year's race. Consisting of Matthew Williams, who's leading off, James Dyke, Hamish Belding and David Thomas. David Thomas at the rear, 4th category junior. Big responsibility leading the team off in the team time trial.
5,
Not to go
4,
too hard, too straight away.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, and that brings us to the very last team to start today's team time trial, West Wales. This year's team consists of 4 3rd category riders: Rodri Evans, Arwell Davis, Chris Gibbard and Craig Jones. Craig Jones leading the way. Every rider has their own way of dealing with the moments before the team time trial. Some more relaxed than others, concentrating on the breathing, holding that wheel in front. The countdown for the last team, they're off. Let's see what time they do later on this afternoon.